Have you ever had that recognizable knot in your stomach as you gazed at a stack of bills in your mailbox, wondering how you're going to manage to pay them all? When you're in your prime, those unforeseen costs can come as a huge shock and jeopardize the tranquility you've sacrificed so much for. Here's a game changer, though. What if I told you that legally, you might not be responsible for paying some of those bills? Many elderly people fail to recognize this fact, which causes them to spend money they could save. I'm going to go into 6 typical bills that seniors frequently encounter needlessly nowadays, which might save you a lot of money and protect you from devious collectors or scammers. Don't stop reading, because understanding these insights could be the difference between financial independence and making costly mistakes that people are dependent on you to make. Before we get started, I would appreciate your help in continuing to share these life lessons with people just like us. Please click the like button if this speaks to you. It will help get the word out. Not yet a subscriber? To ensure you receive all updates, do it now and ring the bell. In order for me to make adjustments and improve future films for you, please leave a 1 in the comments if you're enjoying this and a 0 if not. Okay, let's get started and roll up our sleeves. First, unexpected medical bills that are not covered by insurance. Imagine yourself as a retiree who has just experienced a frightening health crisis, such as an unexpected episode of vertigo that sends you to the emergency room. You are thankful to be well after being bandaged and sent home, but the mail arrives with an enormous bill from a specialist you hardly remember seeing. Even though the hospital was covered, your insurer is ignoring the thousands of dollars because the doctor was out of network. Does that sound familiar? Not only is this surprise billing nightmare annoying, but it's now illegal in many countries. Consider the United States, where the No Surprises Act went into effect in 2022. It essentially states that you cannot be hit with exorbitant out-of-pocket expenses for emergency care, or when an out-of-network professional infiltrates your in-network treatment, such as the anesthesiologist who performs your surgery. Only the amount you would pay in-network is your responsibility. Medicare and private health regulations in Australia require upfront charge declarations, which caps those unscrupulous fees. The majority of crises in Canada are handled by provincial plans, which strictly regulate private admissions. Additionally, the NHS in the UK provides the majority of hospital services for free. However, if you choose to go private, the fees must be made clear up front. But mistakes happen everywhere. Perhaps there is no referral on file for that specialist appointment, or the bill is categorized incorrectly. A basic checkup gets billed as a sophisticated operation. Insurance companies reject claims due to errors in the paperwork, but this does not imply you have to pay for everything. People who have retaliated and triumphed have told me their stories. Following minor surgery, a 70-year-old widow was given a $15,000 hospital tab. She found duplicates for medications she never took and asked for an itemized breakdown. She reduced it to less than $1,000 by appealing to her insurer with medical records attesting to her needs. So, how do you defend yourself? Demand that thorough statement first. Look for overcharges, such as an ICU for an entire day when it was only an afternoon. Verify again whether pre-approval was required and whether the provider was in-network. Medicare and the majority of plans allow you to appeal any denial, and success rates are high when you have good proof. If appropriate, cite legislation such as the No Surprises Act. Hospitals frequently cut bargains for mistakes or hardship instances, so bargain straight. Involve a billing advocate if something seems suspect. They are experts in this area and can occasionally save you a ton of money without charging up ahead. Consider Sarah, an Ohio teacher who is now retired. She had to pay an out-of-network lab $8,000 after hip surgery. She collected her records, used the No Surprises Act, and had the entire matter waived. She would have taken unnecessary withdrawals from her savings if she hadn't known that. Verify before making a payment to safeguard your nest egg. To demonstrate that you're still paying attention, leave a 1 in the comments if you're sticking with me and learning these strategies. Thank you for staying here. Your time is greatly appreciated. Next, are debts associated with a family member. When financial difficulties coexist with grief, it is devastating. Imagine that after your 50-year partner dies, you are suddenly being harassed by collectors regarding their credit card debt. These callers prey on your feelings by asking, "Don't you want to honor their legacy?" Even though the account was only in their name. It is deceptive, and unless you were a joint holder or co-signed, you are legally exempt. You are not responsible even if you are an authorized user. When things are hard, collectors take advantage of people's misunderstanding by delivering letters that make it difficult to distinguish between your personal money and the estate. However, the deceased's assets, not yours, are used to pay off debts. I remember an old man in Texas whose medical debt from his late wife came to light. Although the collector suggested it was a family obligation, he insisted on documentation in accordance with the FDCPA. Not a single signature? They had to retreat. The case was closed. Protect yourself by demanding documented confirmation of the original creditor's identity, amount, and evidence that the debt is not yours. Use solely estate funds if you are the executor of the estate. Never give money or vocally agree, since you might be held accountable in such situations. Bullies should be reported to organizations such as Australia's Consumer Affairs, the UK's Citizens Advice, or the US Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. When a senior I know received calls over her son's previous loan, she denied it, provided no co-signers, and the harassment abruptly stopped. These strategies feed on guilt, but keep in mind that you're safeguarding your future. A brief story. The estate of her cousin filed a $3,000 claim against my neighbor's aunt. When validation requests were not fulfilled, she chose to dismiss it because there was no evidence that connected her. Money saved, peace restored. Third, undocumented informal loans. Have you ever been approached by a friend from your bridge club who says you owe them money that they loaned years ago? Just vague recollections, no signed note? It's uncomfortable, particularly when dealing with people you can trust, but it's frequently unenforceable without a contract. Verbal agreements are difficult to verify. The lender must provide explicit details, such as interest or a payback schedule, through SMS, emails, or checks. Because fading recollection can be abused, seniors are particularly affected. When the lender needs money, a gift could turn into a debt. Consider Jim, an 80-year-old veteran. $1,200 was requested by a former coworker for help with bills from 10 years ago. Jim requested proof, such as a banknote or slip, but received none. No legal obligation to pay. Always respectfully ask for proof. Be firm if it's a reframed gift. Record every conversation for your records. If it gets out of hand, call legal help. They are frequently free for seniors. In one instance, a nephew filed a $800 claim against a woman at a senior community for borrowed tools. No agreement? Dismissed following advocate's recommendations. Paying out of sympathy only attracts more. Please let me know if you agree with me by leaving a remark with 2 below if these nuggets are clicking for you. Thank you. Utility services you never utilized come in fourth. Relocating to a comfortable place to retire? You abruptly receive a power bill at your previous residence after canceling your services. Businesses tamper with meter readings, or landlords alter expenses. For what you did not eat, you are not responsible. After moving into assisted living and confirming their shutdown with the gas supplier, a couple I know received a $500 tab months later. It turned out that the new renter's use was incorrectly billed. They challenged the termination documents and had them removed. Obtain formal confirmation of the cutoff along with readings. Demand bills with specifics. Provide proof of your leaving date if it's after the move. Dispute in writing. Fairness is enforced by regulators such as the UK's Ofgem or the US Public Utility Commissions. Use the FDCPA to validate if collections call. A Florida retiree challenged a $300 water charge for an unoccupied condo. After presenting documentation of the lease's expiration, the bill was removed. Fifth, old obligations that have outlived their usefulness. That store card from 20 years ago? The statute of limitations, which is typically 3 to 10 years from the date of the last payment, may prevent execution. States in the US vary. Australia and the UK typically have 6 years. In an attempt to get you to pay or reset the clock by acknowledging or partially paying, collectors bluff. Don't. Verify your demands. Send a cease contact letter if the deadline has passed. After reviewing restrictions, a senior in Michigan disregarded a 15-year debt, and the collectors gave up. Sixth, counterfeit money from scammers. Seniors are particularly vulnerable to scams, fraudulent IRS requests, and subscriptions. They demand immediate payment with gift cards and appear genuine, which is a serious red flag. Check everything. Reputable companies take their time with untraceable payments. Notify Action Fraud, ScamWatch, and the FTC. One grandmother received a $400 tech support bill. She reported it after looking up scam allegations on the BBB. She dodged the bullet.